I'm Karen. I'm 33 years old. We're a family of 3. My husband William, who's the same age, and our 3-year-old daughter, Evelyn. My husband's family runs a tutoring center. Both my father-in-law and mother-in-law used to be teachers, and my husband also has a teaching license. They are affluent and well-educated, and I sometimes find it hard to believe that I'm part of such a family. At first, my parents and friends were worried about me, but there was nothing to worry about. They're really good people. Even though I was the athlete type in contrast, my in-laws welcomed me with open arms. My mother-in-law was thrilled to have a daughter. Although I was nervous at first, my strength lies in my cheerful and lively character. I decided to be myself, and we built a relationship from there. I hold a certified arborist certification, and I do health assessments on trees, pruning, planting, and relocation, as well as consulting. I studied hard to get my certification, and even after getting out into the field, it's a physically demanding job. Not only do you need brains, but it's a job that really requires physical work. I always take care of my health, and I'm quite strong for a woman. Right now, my husband is a tutor in the family-run tutoring center, but he used to be an elementary school teacher. The first time I met him was when I visited the school he worked at for a meeting about the health and care of the trees. After giving birth, I took parental leave and just returned to work last year. Since our daughter is still young, I prioritize my family thanks to the understanding of my workplace. But there are times when I just can't make it in time to pick her up. When that happens, my mother-in-law helps out, and my husband will pick up our daughter if he can. I appreciated the support from my work, and I was living a fulfilling life. However, there was one person in my married life who troubled me. It was my sister-in-law. She's the wife of my husband's brother. My husband has 2 brothers, and my husband is the second oldest. The youngest son is still single. The eldest son, Richard's wife, is Sarah, and she's the source of my problems. She's basically a housewife, but she also helps with the accounting and administrative work of the tutoring center. They have a 5-year-old boy, and they seem to be planning to have him take an entrance exam for a private elementary school. From the first time I met Sarah at the in-laws' house, I knew she was a different kind of person. She was petite, always well-dressed, and her hair was neat, and I thought she was wonderful when I saw her smiling. But she had 2 faces. It was when we were in the kitchen helping my mother-in-law, and she left for a moment. "Hey, can't you do something about your appearance?" Huh? Sarah, who had been smiling, had a voice that was so different. I thought she was a different person. "You're always wearing clothes that look worn out and dirty. Don't you realize you're the only one who sticks out here?" I'm embarrassed. Well, I find these clothes easy to move in, and I have to chase after my daughter all the time because she's still little." "I have a child too, you know." Sarah sighed dramatically and seemed to have more to say, but she returned to her usual demeanor when she saw my mother-in-law returning. "Oh, what were you 2 talking about?" "Oh, we were just talking about child-rearing." It's amazing how she can change her voice in an instant. I wonder if she has a sensor that automatically switches when my mother-in-law comes. My mother-in-law looked at me as if to say, "Is that so?" "Yes, we were talking about our kids." Upon hearing this, Sarah seemed satisfied. I'm not afraid of skinny Sarah, but it's not like I can't shrug off this level of sarcasm, and I didn't want to worry my mother-in-law unnecessarily. I've got a few friends dealing with issues with their mother-in-laws and sister-in-laws. It's not unusual, after all, to hear about stress due to the mother-in-law factor. Given this context, my mother-in-law is like a saint, always rooting and supporting my career. I thought I could deflect my sister-in-law's snide comments easily. However, every time we crossed paths, she would continue to demean me. Once, while on a work errand, I bumped into my sister-in-law, Sarah, who was chatting with a couple of her mom friends. We locked eyes, and not wanting to be rude, I greeted her. "Hello, Sarah." "Oh, hi there." I was in a rush and moved on after the brief exchange, but later that night she called my home. "What on earth do you think you're doing?" She snapped at me, her tone extremely aggressive from the get-go. "Huh? What do you mean?" "Earlier today, don't you dare approach me in public dressed like that. What's with your work outfit? I can't believe you would walk around outside looking like that. Did you see us? It's only proper to look presentable, even if you have nothing special going on. We're all mom friends who are preparing our kids for private school entrance exams. We live in a different world from you. Oh, I was so embarrassed. She launched into a tirade without pause. Well, I was working, so I was indeed in my work clothes, I replied. I don't care about that. Just don't approach me anymore when we meet outside, okay? It's embarrassing. But isn't that even stranger? We're family after all. That's what I've been trying to tell you, haven't I? You're just not fitting for the family. Just so you know, I've never considered you a sister-in-law. She hung up abruptly, leaving me stunned. She really went out of her way to call and vent her feelings. Although she consistently complained about me at family gatherings, what's worse is that she only reveals her true colors when we're alone. She prides herself in being a fashionable, high-class woman from a wealthy family. It's fine if she enjoys that. What I don't understand is her constant need to attack me, simply because I don't align with her preferences. Yes, she always dresses elegantly in sports accessories, but why does she need so many? I wonder if her quiet husband, my brother-in-law, lets her shop as much as she wants. He probably doesn't even know about this side of her. It's just who she is. I've kept silent about this to my brother-in-law and mother-in-law, but I did let my husband in on it, as it was becoming a source of stress. Huh? She doesn't seem like that. He initially shrugged it off. A few days later, my mother-in-law called me. There was a family dinner coming up over the weekend, and she wanted to let me know the time and place. We each live about 30 minutes away by car. Normally, she doesn't interfere with her son's household. However, she insists on gathering the entire family for my father-in-law's birthday, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. This time, it was because my father-in-law's birthday was approaching. This time, we managed to reserve a private room at his favorite steakhouse. It's our first time going there as a family, but it's really good. I hope you're looking forward to it. Oh, I am, thank you. While I was genuinely excited, I dreaded seeing my sister-in-law again. You don't sound very enthusiastic. Are you busy at work? Oh, I'm okay. I'm perfectly fine. Uh-oh, had my voice betrayed my feelings? I hurriedly reassured her. Karen, if there's anything bothering you at home, please let me know, okay? Our home? We're managing just fine, even when work runs late. You help us out. I really appreciate all you do for us. It's not about your family, though. Huh? I was puzzled, not understanding what she meant. Then the weekend came, and with it, the dinner party. It was my father-in-law's birthday celebration, a chance to express our gratitude for my father-in-law and mother-in-law. I resolved to celebrate wholeheartedly, and not to let my spiteful sister-in-law get to me. I left home early, and when I walked into the private room at the restaurant, I sighed with relief as my father-in-law, mother-in-law, brother-in-law, and sister-in-law had not yet arrived. I'd come early as to not keep my father-in-law waiting on his birthday celebration, and also because the less time I spent with Sarah, the better. However, my brother-in-law and Sarah showed up right after I did. Hello. Hi, Karen. Richard, it's nice to see you. After we exchanged greetings, my husband and brother-in-law started talking. Sarah, on the other hand, swiftly came over to me and looked me up and down before sighing. What are you wearing? For such an upscale restaurant, you could at least dress a bit nicer. How many times do I have to tell you? The demeaning comments started as usual, only in a lower tone. Is this really the time or place for that? I clenched my teeth and forced a smile. I chose this dress thinking about the occasion. Is it inappropriate? I mean, it's not from a high-end brand or anything. It's quite surprising you could show up in such a cheap outfit. You, despite being a woman, have such broad shoulders that the dress doesn't suit you. And your accessories? Just a wedding ring? You never wear nail polish either, and your hands look rough. I can't wear nail polish for my job. Isn't it inconvenient to do household chores with such long nails, Sarah? My job involves working with wood and soil in addition to household chores, so my hands tend to get rough. Not being able to wear nail polish was not something I was concerned about. Compared to the average woman, my masculinity is a testament to my hard work as a gardener. These hands, these shoulders, they are my pride, Yet she belittles them, and I couldn't help but retort, "What did you say? Are you suggesting that I don't do housework?" Perhaps my rebuttal did sit well with her. Sarah's voice grew louder. "I really can't stand you. I've been trying to help you out of kindness, but you never listen, and now you're resisting? It's unbearable to be lumped in with a rough woman like you." I messed up. My sister-in-law seemed to be losing sight of her surroundings in her anger. "This is my father-in-law's celebration today. Please don't bother me." "Huh? You're the one ruining everything. You're the one who doesn't belong in this family. I told you, I can't dine with someone as shabby as you. Go home." Wait, what? I have to go home? This dinner was organized by my mother-in-law, and the person ruining it is clearly her. I'll listen to your complaints about me later. I have things to say to you as well, but for now, I had decided to stand my ground, but not now. "Don't you dare talk back to me. Didn't you hear me? I said go home. In fact, leave this family." Just as my husband started to approach in response to Sarah's loud voice, the private room's door opened. "The one leaving should be you." My mother-in-law entered the room, quietly yet decisively. My father-in-law and their youngest son, John, also entered, and my mother-in-law gently closed the door. "What?" Sarah, who was fired up, must have remembered where she was and what was happening. She was lost for words, her mouth opening and closing in surprise. What was that about?" "Everyone, please sit down." Despite her soft voice, there was a compelling force in my mother-in-law that everyone obeyed. "It seems we need to have a chat before we can enjoy the birthday celebration. I'm sorry for this interruption." Seeing my father-in-law nod in agreement, my mother-in-law turned back to Sarah. "Sarah, what did you say to Karen?" Whoa, even my kind-hearted mother-in-law could dish out a strong sarcasm when needed. Sarah, flustered, answered, "Oh, just saying I'm looking forward to today's meal." "Did I hear wrong? I thought I heard get out." "Huh? No, that was a small argument. It was just a joke." She was still somewhat agitated, but I was impressed at how Sarah was trying to regain her usual cheerful demeanor. "An argument? What caused it? It seemed you were the one doing all the talking. Have you been bullying Karen like this whole time?" She probably heard everything from the door, staring straight at Sarah. I didn't bully her. I was just offering advice on manners and dress as a senior member of this household." "That didn't seem like advice, and everyone should be free to wear what they want as long as it's respectful. She wasn't dressed oddly." But wearing non-branded clothes in such a high-end restaurant, her makeup and accessories were minimal. I thought she shouldn't embarrass you and the rest." "Enough!" My mother-in-law's outburst made me jump, along with Sarah. The three brothers and my father-in-law knew that my mother-in-law was scary when angry. They seemed unfazed by the situation, showing picture books and speaking to the children to distract them. "No." "Sarah, you're the one who should be embarrassed. I had noticed that something was off about you two, even during gatherings at our house. I initially thought you were having friendly chats." "Huh? Friendly? Yes, friendly chats, right? Sarah gave me a desperate look that was completely different from before, but I avoided meeting her gaze. "For the record, Karen never snitched on you. You wasted her kindness, hoping you would eventually change. Your attitude only escalated." Well, that's..." Stammering, Sarah was met with my mother-in-law's even harsher tone. "And you always wear beautiful clothes and have so many purses." Yes, that's true. I always make sure to look presentable wherever I go." "Where does the money for that come from?" "Huh?" Just as she thought she could regain the upper hand, an unexpected question made Sarah freeze. That is, of course, from my..." "We're paying you for helping with the tuition and accounting at the tutoring school. Even if my son said you could use that money freely, it doesn't seem like it would be enough. Your clothes and purses are all designer brands." Well, because..." "Are you exploiting the fact that you're in charge of the household finances to satisfy your own desires?" What do you mean?" She stammered. I could see why she's confused. I was curious about the source of their money myself. I had always thought my brother-in-law was just a generous guy. Maybe he just left all the household finances to her. It's concerning to me that he didn't keep a closer eye on their spending. Maybe he trusted her because she acted as a good wife so well. When I think about it like that, I almost feel sorry for him. So, you've been spending money like water and now you want to send your child to a private school? She asked. You've been settling aside funds for their education, right? What? You're not expecting us to pay, are you? No, not at all, but he's your adorable grandchild after all. Which is it? So she was planning to rely on my father-in-law and mother-in-law's money all along. Of course we love our grandchildren. We're thinking of supporting them financially if necessary, says my mother-in-law. Really? But only after you leave our home. What? No, there's no need for that. I'll apologize to Karen for telling her to leave. Karen? It's the first time she's referred to me by name. You will forgive me, right? We're sisters after all. Sisters? Only while you're married to my brother-in-law. My mother-in-law looks at me as if to sign that I should continue. Even if it's official, I don't want to become family. I don't think of you as a sister. Caught off guard, Sarah let out a weird noise. And that's not all. You've also been dipping into the money from the tutoring school. Sarah was speechless, her eyes wide in shock. Is that true? I was genuinely surprised by my mother-in-law's words. I had expected Sarah to use the household money freely, but I didn't think she would touch the funds from the tutoring school my in-laws run. You were clever enough to not get caught, so it took us a while to figure it out. Even Bob, who's been in charge of our accounts for years, was manipulated by you. Sarah's face turned pale. You were buying gifts like gift baskets for the suppliers of our teaching materials, expressing gratitude to teachers holding seminars, all this shopping under your charge. The amount on the receipts gradually increased. You made excuses that you were asked to give birthday presents, or that the requests came from me or my son. No, that's not. What are you talking about? You bought things other than gift baskets, labeling them as presents. This has never happened before. But it's our son's wife. Bob trusted you. He was told you took part-time lecturers to lunch, but in reality, you were dining and drinking tea with your mom friends. The suspicious receipts gradually increased, and Bob finally came to us. Even before that, my son had started investigating after noticing something strange. What? You betrayed the trust of all those who wanted to believe in you. It seems that dressing up is more important to you than anything else. It's not me, I didn't. Sarah looked at my brother-in-law as if begging for help, with a voice that's almost a whisper. But he just stared back coldly without saying a word. And if all this is true, I can't blame him. Karen is the opposite. Sure, she's not really into fashion, but she always puts herself second and values her family and her job. You seem to not care to know about her work, but being a certified arborist is an impressive qualification. I bet she studied hard for it. Oh. As Sarah was left speechless and utterly defeated, my mother-in-law suddenly started talking about me. Unconsciously, I felt a warmth welling up in my eyes. I respect her, thinking that if she wanted to continue her work, we should support her. Have you ever seen her working lively, not caring if her clothes get dirty or her hands are covered in soil? And you make fun of her? I was teary-eyed and silent. And Sarah was unable to make any excuses or act anymore. She just hung her head low. Our tutoring school may not match the major corporations, but we value our teachers and students and have earned their trust. We've grown little by little by addressing each student's individual issues and those of their families. What's important is people and hearts. You are the one that doesn't belong here. You are the one who should leave. My mother-in-law, who had declared it so clearly, was truly awesome. After that, Sarah, who had been pretending to be a perfect, elegant wife, was forced to leave her wealthy family. My brother-in-law attempted to have a discussion, but Sarah, who refused to acknowledge her faults and was very angry, was served with divorce papers. Now that the embezzlement has been revealed, she won't be able to get any compensation, and she has nothing left. My brother-in-law will keep the custody of their son, and with the help of my father-in-law and mother-in-law, he will maintain their normal life. Sarah, who always put herself first, would take her anger out on her son when things didn't go her way. But the young boy nodded firmly at his father and grandparents' words of It'll be okay. The desire to send him to a private elementary school was Sarah's wish, but he apparently disliked being forced to study. These days, he's freely playing with our daughter. Of course, my husband and I intend to help in any way we can. On a leisurely day spent together at my in-laws' house, my mother-in-law approached me and said, "I'm really sorry for making you uncomfortable for so long. We should have noticed sooner." "No, not at all. I wasn't really bothered at first." "If you ever need anything in the future, don't hesitate to tell us." "Yes." As I said that, I remembered my mother-in-law's words. What's important is people and hearts. Maybe because I was staring at her, my mother-in-law looked at me with a puzzled expression. "Haha, it's nothing. I was just thinking how cool you are." "Well, thank you. But the cool one is you, being able to create such beautiful gardens. Maybe I should ask you to help with ours next time. I want to replant the flower bed." "Oh, absolutely. I would love to do it, even if it's not for work. Just let me know whenever." "You should charge her. Mom can be quite demanding." My husband chimed in with a playful comment, and we all laughed together. Value people, cherish hearts. I'll make sure to remember that. I hope to spend more time laughing with my precious family in the future.